Welcome in. Happy Saturday. Welcome back, friends, to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour, a special Saturday edition, day drinking Saturday afternoon for the Elimination Chamber. I, of course, am your host, your virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my lovely tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Cheers, Nicole. What are you drinking?
I'm being bad. It's been a stressful night and a stressful morning, so I did pour cocktail, of course, Tito's, Cran, and orange juice. What about you over there, Mr. Nick?
Mr. Nick is keeping myself a little bit sober today. It's a sober Saturday. It's been a long Saturday already. Mm-hmm. So let's get right to it. There's been a pay-per-view. A lot of wrestling's already happened.
Yeah. I was up at 4:00 to watch the pre-show with Rosenberg and what's his face and the random girl. So watched, and we were what?
No, I remember. Yeah,
Nick was half asleep. I terrible at sleeping, so I was up, and then there was actually a pre-show match, which they announced the match. Obviously, it was Kabuki Warriors versus Candice and Indy, and Indy got a huge reception. She's Australian. She's from Melbourne. So she got a huge reception. But I thought it would be on Maine, but they actually had a pre-show match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good. It's good to get the hometown.
Yeah. She got a huge reaction. She got, we want Indy chants, which don't really necessarily think they get over here. Candice and Indy were so over in NXT with, the way with Johnny and when... with Theory, actually, and the other guy. Why am I blanking on names? It's been a more again. I've been up since 3:45. Indy's husband, that KP husband, that no.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Dexter Loomis.
There you go. So I just feel like I was excited for her to get the reaction that they should be getting on main roster in the U.S.
It was nice. It's a nice moment for her. But let's get to it. We don't want to bury the lead. They opened up first match. You want to be first or last? First match, Women's Elimination Chamber.
Which I called yesterday.
What's that?
I said it was going to open.
And to your credit, I'll give you credit where it's due. You called the winner once again. I was close, though. Liv was there at the end. But Becky Lynch emerged on top as the winner and will be going to challenge Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. So overall, I thought it was a great match, really athletic competition. We saw kind of what we expected, a lot of the power moves from Raquel and Bianca. Raquel had the double power bomb elimination. There was a lot of what I thought was really awesome, and I always love this about the chamber matches, but I feel like we don't see that as much, and the men's didn't do this at all, is that there was a lot of springboards, and they use the environment way better than the men do. And there was a lot of really great spots in that match that just made it really interesting to watch and entertaining through and through. So I was really impressed with it. I know, Nikki, I know you were too. What were your thoughts on it?
I said to you this morning, I think this is probably the best women's elimination chamber match there's been. I think it started off with Becky and Naomi, and it was Corey kept saying this on commentary that you don't see how the chamber opened this way. They were quick pin and all these roll ups and all these reversals and the thing where they tumble over each other. It's let me get a quick pin before the next person comes in so I can catch my breath. I thought that was a fun way to start. And then Tiffy was out next, came out swinging, basically. I think she probably breakout performance for her for sure. Her senton looked crazy. Her moonsault looked crazy. She took a lot of punishment when Liv was next out and just took Tiffy and threw her into pod after pod after pod after pod. And then Becky did a really gnarly exploder suplex into the cage and then put her arm through the cage and was doing the disarmer. Tiffy took a beating, and I think she breakout star. I think she looked fantastic. She had that great pin, she pinned Naomi. Naomi went off the top of the cage, did the blockbuster to Liv, and then Tiffy came and rolled up Naomi, and it was what? That was kind of what I said. I wanted to like not just straight up pins, but crazy combinations, and then someone gets eliminated.
Right. Well, Tiff Stratton, I said it yesterday that I thought she would do something crazy. She did. And every pay-per-view here, we like to have our own awards. We like to bring the Big Nick energy. So the Big Nick energy moment, my Big Nick energy moment of the pay-per-view was Tiffany Stratton's senton off the chamber. That was phenomenal. Even like you don't even see the men doing moves onto the actual grates as much as going back into the ring. Like I was a little disappointed, even like with Logan Paul just doing a crossbody. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, he did a crossbody off the top!" But regardless, yeah, it was a phenomenal moment. So cheers to that.
I think every woman in there looked like it. That's what I wanted. I wanted everyone to look like a star. I wanted to have their moment. Like Liv was throwing out code breaker after code breaker after code, but like she probably did like 100 code breakers. Like I just think they all looked great. It was such a fun match, well paced. Like I think again, leave your comments down below, but I think this was best women's elimination chamber, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of begs the question. Yeah, we definitely want to hear from everyone. Is this? You said this to me earlier before we came on. Mm-hmm. Is this the greatest women's elimination chamber of all time? It could very well be. I can't, and it's a shame to say this, but there's been so little of them over the last. How many? Like 5 years.
The sixth.
Yeah, so about
6th or 7th.
So there's been so little volume of it to kind of go off of, but it's definitely for me the most memorable elimination chamber that I can think of. And even as I think about it, like I don't even think about like Hell in a Cell, like matches like that. Like this is the most memorable even cage match I would say in the last 5 years plus that I can think of on the female side.
I'm just thinking like women's eliminations. I can remember when Shayna went crazy and won and took out everybody. And then the one that they had 2022 when it was in Saudi Arabia, because I just remember Liv Morgan looked like dressed up as Britney Spears in the whole red. So I remember that. But like this, I remember spots and calls, and like I think this one's definitely gonna be in our memories for a long time. And maybe so far again it's only February 24th, match of the year. I'm going match of the year.
Well, it's definitely a candidate for sure. So moving on, we're going to kind of, for time purposes, kind of glance over. We're going to glaze over the middle of the card, right? So we move into the Judgment Day area where the Judgment Day are defending their tag team titles against Tyler Bate, Underwear Man, as I like to call him, and Peter Dune.
So yeah, Nick gets upset that Tyler Bates the front of his trunks has the line, so it looks like he's wearing like little boy undies.
First off,
but he's a big strong boy.
I want to say this before we get to it. Sorry, I'm
okay.
wrong slides, but I say this because he comes out, his tights look like underwear. Like I woke up on Saturday morning, like I did today, to watch wrestling. And he comes out with that robe that literally makes it look like, but that and his hair, all three elements make him look like he just woke up and he's not showing up to do a job. It upsets me. I don't like it. Change your gear.
But he's a big, strong boy. Again, like I think this was a fun match. I think again, everyone kind of put in the work. Great spots, great pacing. I do like. I'm not a what is it? New Catch Republic.
Yeah, New Catch. I thought
who's like the NXT kids, like they have a weird name too with Drew Gulak. And
well, when they came out, I remember telling you like New Cash. I was like, oh, they have a cool New Cash Republic. I was like, oh, maybe they're doing some sort of like money gimmick or whatever financially. And like then I saw on the screen New Catch, and I mean again, maybe this is something. European. Maybe please somebody. Explain in the comments below. Let us know. Maybe there's something that I'm missing about the name.
Corey explained it on commentary. That's like, just call the British strong style. They're like, the catch can that they do and the British strong style. You should have just named the British strong style again. But I don't know. Name is dumb, but I really like them together. I like Peter Dune being Peter Dune.
Why not the Bruiserweights? Just call them the Bruiserweights. I like the Bruiserweight nickname. Like it's just.
Well, that's Pete's thing.
I know,
like,
but just
Tyler's
make him. Yeah, but he's indistinct anyway.
I don't know. I like them. I like done things. I think there was great spots. I loved him kicking out of what's Finn's move? The 18. What's he? 1820.
1812.
Yeah.
1912. 1912. It's one of those years. Numbers are hard.
Whatever.
Math is
Jack
hard.
Ripper was being Jack Ripper. But again, I think it was a fun match. Again, Dom doing Dom things. I liked that the referee, she did the whole like, you're out. So that was fun when she kicked Dom out. But again, not a surprise here. Again, fun match, but you knew Judgment Day was winning.
Damien looked super strong. I have the image up here. Like the double choke slam into Finn Balor's coup de grace was really nicely done. Yeah, and it was a good match, a really good match, as expected. But the finish was
I don't think there was any surprises in any of these matches for this pay-per-view, but super fun
for sure.
So everyone looked good.
Moving along, the big point in the mid card, the Grayson Waller effect. He was going to have on arguably his biggest show. He's got on Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins. I guess I still am getting to that name right.
Yeah.
But anyway, had him on to discuss everything that's been going on with The Rock, the Bloodline, why he thinks he could do whatever he wants, even though he won the Royal Rumble for Cody Rhodes particularly. Basically, out of this whole segment, which I know some of us speculated that The Rock would come out or show up or some sort of altercation.
He said he wasn't going to be there.
The big announcement was that Cody wants The Rock one-on-one. So, again, a lot of other things happen in this segment with Austin Theory, who, what does he call himself? The 150 million view man. But, getting absolutely torn apart and basically just kind of proving that, Seth has Rhodes' back and that they're on the same page. And I think that was kind of the idea behind it. But I beg the question, and I go back to the point, do you want to see Rock versus Rhodes? Is that something anyone out there wants to say? I have my theory, but ladies first.
Nope. Don't want it. Don't like it. Don't care. I know I probably am the minority. I think it has to have stakes. Like we were talking this morning when we were in the car. What if they do it? If they repeat 10 years ago, WrestleMania 30, Cody's got to beat The Rock to get to Roman to get to the belt, or if he loses to Rock, then he doesn't get his opportunity. I think there needs to be some stakes. I just don't want to see a one-on-one match, or even if they do the tag teams at the end. Seth was like I got your back, basically. You don't have to do it alone. One-on-one, it's like I don't want to see a gassed up Rock and like Cody have to carry him through. So like if they're gonna do a tag match, or if they insist on doing it, I want stakes. I want there to be a reason. Also, little sneak in. Seth did say he's going to be cleared in a couple days.
Okay.
So definitely, because I know we talked about I keep saying last night, but this morning that what happens if he's not cleared? I'm like, no, he's definitely going to be cleared. Him, we'll get to that, but him and Drew,
to do two matches.
Yeah, but
potentially.
If they're going to do two matches, I want a real reason. I don't want just a one-on-one match.
I do like the idea of stakes similar to WrestleMania 30, right? Mm-hmm. Where he could beat Rock and can't gather all that. The amount of, it could be its own pay-per-view itself, right? Anyone who's going to main event with Rock, but a victory for Cody, I think Cody gets it. We all know he's leading towards Cody beating Roman regardless. So is Rock a step stool on the way to Roman, or is Rock, because he's a Hall of Famer, right? And you could argue, Roman talks about being the GOAT, but he's, a lot of people consider him better than Roman. So it's just another level to Cody Rhodes' stardom if he has another victory over a guy like The Rock, who he's never had. So I don't know. It's a very interesting proposition. I want to see it personally because you all know I love The Rock, so I would love to see Rock Rhodes. Give it to me. I'm in. We want to hear from you all. Let us know about that.
It have to be I don't want to see a 25-minute something. It just brings me back to like pandemic days when Edge and Randy Orton had that like it was the greatest match ever, and it was like 700 years in the back, and it was like just a slog. Like, could it be a 10-minute match? Probably it should if we're gonna do this. I think protecting, if you want to protect The Rock, I think you need to do it in a tag match.
Yeah, but I don't think you need like you're not talking about Goldberg.
Stop doing
We are not talking about Goldberg here. The Rock is a completely different wrestler than Goldberg. The Rock is way a whole other level.
Watch him plow down Jinder. Boy got tired.
But we're talking about a legendary wrestler, one of the greatest of all time, right? Who's always in phenomenal shape.
Yes, doing a promo.
But it's not.
Go watch it.
Yeah, because he's all jacked up doing a promo. Because he's The Rock. He's electrifying. That's what happens.
I'm sorry.
You need to bring it all the time. That's what it is. So I have no doubts that The Rock would have a great match. Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 50 minutes, I'm down for it.
I still agree with 12-year-old me who never liked The Rock.
I know. You hate Rock.
I do.
So, anyway, moving along, we're going to get the men's chamber. Well, what?
Well, I just want to do a picture that you showed. I like that, like, Austin kind of ran his mouth and he was doing The Rock's, like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Smell. And then Seth hit him, and then he hit the Cody Cutter, and they looked at Grayson. Grayson was such like a face here when usually he's a heel in the U.S. And Cody and Seth looked at Waller, like, are you going to do something? And he like moonwalked into his ferns, and then Cody Cutter, and then Seth hit the curse.
I like Grayson Waller a lot. Sorry
I do too. No. We talked about that this morning, that like I wasn't like a huge fan or didn't necessarily get him in an NXT. But I think him coming to the main, I think he was supposed to like help support Theory, and it definitely is the other way around. Like Grayson gets cheered, nobody likes Theory. I would like to see him wrestle more, to be honest.
He has so much charisma. It's crazy. Even when he first came up, you could just tell he had charisma. It's just like he was just like pompous and just like
I think it reads better on main. I think some people just do better on main than NXT, and I think he's definitely one of them. And I like his segments, and again, I think he was supposed to help Theory, and I think Theory is kind of his little lackey now. But no, I just think that I want to just mention what was on screen, because I don't like Theory, and it's just so funny. Like what in 2020, 2021, like Seth and Austin were together. He was one of the little lackeys too. So I don't know. Again, not an Austin Theory fan, but I think Grayson was over. People are cheering for Grayson. I think his segments are fun. I still don't get the shoeies that he did with some UFC guy.
Well, that's an Australian thing, so I don't think we're going to.
But also saying that Seth is going to be cleared. This is the first time he's really done something in the ring since the Jinder match. So it's good to see. It's like, okay, not just like, I'm going to be cleared soon, but he actually hit moves.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I was excited to see that. I love Seth, so this was good to see.
So yeah, I think it served its purpose, right?
Yeah.
To get everyone over.
Like he wanted to get them on the show, but Triple H doesn't want to like overstack the cards, and then getting Seth back into motion. I think this accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Right. I don't like the Rock.
So moving along to the men's chamber match. So we talked about it yesterday, and I got to give him props. Caller Steven called in. He's been saying Drew McIntyre for weeks now since the show started. So Steve, big ups to you. Yeah. You can come. Cheers. Drinks on the house. He called Drew McIntyre. Winning chamber. Men's chamber. Overall, Nikki, your thoughts?
Serviceable. I think it was, again, a fun match. I don't think it was, like, the greatest men's we've seen. Like, we've seen, I think, more exciting ones. Not that they're saying there wasn't a lot of big spots. Like, I love KO, and him being, like, running around crazy and, like, bashing people and going after Logan was fun. But I just don't know if there was enough, like, I don't know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, it was good, but like I guess I've seen better, and I think again Drew being predictable. I don't know, but do you want me to do my next? Or are you gonna say something?
I was surprised, real quick. I was surprised at how involved Logan Paul was in the match. It seemed like Like they were always panning to him, and like I get it. He's again he's a star, but like again the brass knucks and the elimination. How he got eliminated was just wonderfully done.
That was beautiful. Like he took an RKO and he's literally standing there with the knucks, and all of a sudden you just see Randy like float in and hit the RKO. Like that was really good. But
it reminded me of when the only other time it was like that, and it was kind of done weirdly with Lesnar, like way back when he had the first feud with Lesnar, when Lesnar had that like little like off stint where they were putting them together for like a one-off match where he was just like out of nowhere. But because they never do that. Like I remember it just became such a big thing, the RKO out of nowhere, right? And like that was just perfectly done. We haven't seen it in
That's probably one of my, I guess, now favorites. Like my favorite one, again, when it was him and Seth at Mania, the Mania that Seth later cashed in. But he was doing whatever off the top rope, and then Randy catched him. Apparently, Randy didn't want to do that spot, but Seth pushed and like, we got to do it.
No, I think he used the stomp, and he like threw him up and caught him.
No, I thought he was coming. I'm pretty sure he was coming off the top rope.
There was the one. I mean, there's been a couple with like AJ, but like I remember the stomp.
Correct, down below. No, I think he was flying off the top rope.
We'll have to double check. I don't know. I remember him popping up, and that's
because he jumped up to get him.
So I may have tipped it off.
No, it's fine. So Nick had his big Nick energy match of the night. So my big Nick energy was Bobby Lashley's spear through the Lex hand. Michael said Lex hand 100 times, and it was just annoying. But that spear, like full run, and Logan just like took it, and I thought it was a really fun spot.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I guess I can't really shit on Logan because he did the cross body from the top, and I thought he was going to do some sort of crazier jump, but he did take the spear. So I guess I can't really crap on him. I think he took
more and sold more than him usually doing her spot monkey donkey spots, and him just kind of flying around the ring. But this was more like actually taking stuff and selling, which surprisingly he does do.
You also have AJ Styles I knew something would happen. So Bobby Lashley gets gets eliminated right after this happens with his shoulder.
He was selling the elbow.
Oh, it was the elbow.
It was the elbow.
I always feel like every time they do the spear, you should sell the shoulder. I have to say that 3 times.
I guess it depends how you land.
But like, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I don't know. It feels like football. It's a shoulder thing. But regardless, I digress. He gets eliminated. They open the door, opens up the door literally for AJ Styles to come in and with a chair and just beat the living hell out of LA Knight.
Yeah.
And then gave him eventually a Styles clash onto the chair, which eventually, signaled the end of.
Well, at first, because all of a sudden you just see because you're watching the foreground who's wrestling, and then all of a sudden you see the referees in the back, and I was like, Nick, what's happening? Like for a second I was like, what's going on? And then it's like, oh, they're helping like Bobby get up, and I was like, well, if it's just an elbow, like why can't he walk? And then AJ came and I was like, oh, I get it now. For like, it was very confused for a second, and I was like, okay. And then he like beat the crap out of him, did the Styles clash onto the chair, and then LA Knight gets pinned after that. I don't know. I think they'll have I want LA Knight to be doing more at Mania. As much I really do like AJ. I think he was out for a while and now he's come back as like super AJ. But like a match at Mania between the two of them really doesn't really do much for either one of them, to be honest. I'd rather see LA Knight in like a title picture. Honestly, both of them, someone in a title picture, but.
I mean, LA Knight has way more momentum than AJ Styles right now. So, like, AJ Styles is in the heel turn moment. So, like, it has turned. But, yeah. But he's in the early stages.
He's wearing black pants now. He is a heel.
He says mean things now. But, so, like, it's just, yeah. I agree. I don't think it really does much for either of them. But LA Knight has the most momentum.
Yeah.
Wrestling is such a fickle thing where when you catch it, you gotta like ride with it. And I think it's one of those things that 6 months from now, a year from now, is LA Knight going to be just as over as he is now? I don't know. And like putting him in a feud with AJ Styles at WrestleMania just dilutes his. We talk about like diluting your buzz, right?
Yeah.
Like that dilutes the buzz for me. So interesting. And then I hated how, again, Logan Paul's the reason. I get it, he's a heel. He just uses the brass knucks to eliminate basically Randy Orton. Like I don't know. I thought it was a little lazy booking.
Well, then it's because that's what we said. Like, oh, is he going? Like, is that going to be the Mania match? Like, is he like KO Randy? Because they did have, and Logan, the three of them had this segment on the press conference on Friday, or Thursday, whenever it was. But
yeah, I mean, could it be like a multi-person match? Yeah, possibly.
I don't think so. Again, correct me in the comments down below. I don't think Randy's been the U.S. champion though. He kind of just went straight to main, and I know he was IC and.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think.
No, he was. I remember. It was the, and I hated that belt.
Was it spinner belt?
No, it was not the spinner. Oh. It was the thin. Who do I associate that belt with? I don't know why I associated with. Did Jeff Jarrett have it? I think Jeff Jarrett had that type of belt too.
I just don't know if it's one of those things that like last year, like Sheamus was in the match with Gunther because that's like the one belt that's like eluded him. Like, I don't know if this was like something parallel, like, oh, Randy's never had this belt before. But.
He had the belt that looks more similar, I guess, to the North American title in terms of like size and shape.
Well, never mind then.
That's, I guess, what I'm thinking.
Yeah, comment.
And I'm also just possibly unpopular opinion. I don't know. Don't like the current Intercontinental title looks. It just seems clunky. It seems like some piece of like hardware that I'd find in my parents' like linen, like China, like closet. Just like they just have it there, and it was just handed down from generation to generation, and no one really knows what to do.
Put the belt on Cody. Have Cody bring back the white, like the white strap. I'm sorry, that's the IC belt to me. Bring that back. Like it's not. There's been worse belts, but it's not out of like the current. Like I like the U.S. belt when they finally redid that. I think that looks good. The main belts are the main belts. Of course, you're gonna have the big.
I always liked the original U.S. belt with the WCW one because it looked like it was their Intercontinental title. That's how I always viewed it, and it looked like that too. So, regardless,
there's been better, but it's not the worst.
So we move on, and the men's Elimination Chamber, ironically, was not ironically, but maybe expected, maybe not expected, but was not the main event for the evening, as the main event was Mommy.
I don't know how I feel about you saying like that.
Isn't that how Dominic says it? Like, Mommy.
I know, but you're not.
But anyway, Rhea Ripley defending against Nia Jax in her homeland. So, I thought a pretty good match for what I expected. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts were, but I don't think anyone really thought that Nia was going to upset Rhea for this belt, especially in her hometown. It would be a crazy booking decision, though. But the amount of heat. Nia did get a lot of heat, regardless, for the match. I thought I'm going to take the lead on this one if I can, because I love that. Because I feel like I'm a little bit less biased towards Nia Jax than some other people that are on the show. So I thought it was a pretty good match for what it's worth. Like average above average, what I expected. Couple things that surprised me. Rhea got a good reaction, right? But I thought she'd get a much bigger pop than what she got, to be perfectly honest. And then she was so amped up as expected, and I was so happy for to see her family in the front row and all that stuff. I really expected her to be way, way more over in her home country than she was. Like, I think, to be perfectly honest, she's going to get a bigger pop at WrestleMania than she's going to get in Australia. And I would actually challenge someone to challenge me on that, because I think that her WrestleMania pop will be bigger than the pop she had last night, whatever we're calling it. So that was an interesting thought that I had on that. The other aspect in the match was, she took a beating, and there was just one brutal spot. And I know some friends are gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. The table spot and it was weird because every time they clear off the table, that you always take the monitors. Like, that's like 101. And I feel like Rhea didn't do that. And I don't know if that's part of the spot, but and I think maybe more likely because it looked like those were like connected in more than they've been, like locked into place. Like, I feel like all the old monitors, you could just slide them off the tables and stuff like that. And now they started using more like iPads, which is what I thought. And they were just sliding them off. It looked like it was like locked into that table. So when she got slammed from Nia on her back, it looked like she got impaled. And that was just such a brutal spot. And
the table didn't break. So they had to do another move to break the table.
Yeah, and then
brutal.
And then she gave her the elbow drop. And I mean, I guess not that you're gonna, but I mean, maybe to be a little safer, you would. But like, move the monitors off, she just went right back on it. I'm just like, oh God, like, please don't be hurt. Please don't get like a Randy Orton back situation because of this match, and that spot, because it looked brutal. And like, my favorite wrestler is Shawn Michaels, and that casket spot like ruined his career for a big period of time. So that was my thought on it there. And also, again, that spot, the superplex spot, was a candidate for the Big Nick Energy moment, my Big Nick Energy moment of the night. So it was pretty impressive. It was a tough one for me between that and I'm a big Tiff Strat fan, so it was. But a great. I thought not great. I don't want to use great, but a good match overall. Liked it. What are your thoughts, Miss Negative Nia Jax?
Well, better than I anticipated. I think again, she's this big, dominant, scary heel, challenger, and I think Rhea looked like, I don't know if I necessarily agree about the pop, but we'll save that for another day. But she used that big baby, like, coming from behind baby face that's gonna take down the big heel, and she kicked out of the later. So I think that's when the momentum swung, and she did hit the riptide, which I was worried that Nia wasn't gonna allow that or help that, but it looked fine.
Which was what we talked about yesterday.
Yes.
Was how good it would look. Yeah, I think probably what I expected. For her, but it's still impressive nonetheless. I mean, it's just.
And so Rhea's a star. She looks like a star. I think I love the photo you have of her. I love when her eyes get crazy. Babyface win in her home country. She's going, her and Bex. It's gonna be a fun match.
Which still drives me like nuts, because like, she's a babyface. Everyone agrees that she's been treated like a babyface for the last month or so. And she's still in Judgment Day as a leader, which is the heel group. That's why
I think that's what's going to be the fun part of this, because Rhea and Becky have both been faces, both been heels, and then can be in this little in between zone. Like, I think Becky can play up heel stuff, Rhea can play up heel stuff. Like, I think it's gonna be fun getting to meeting with them. The promos, I think, are gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a banger of a match. So, interested to see where they place it on the card. That's going to be an opener. I think that's an opening night on Saturday, opening the show. But we'll see. What were your all? I can't say. I can't even talk. It's still early. We're still getting everything situated here. And for those who don't know, we are taking a week off. We will be flying to the lovely island of San Juan after this. So next week there will be no happy hour on Friday. We will come back 2 weeks from yesterday, which someone get me a calendar. Hold on.
10th?
Let's see. The 8th.
Oh. Yeah.
March 8th. Friday, March 8th, with a new time of 6 p.m. So mark your calendars. Mark your watches, whatever you use to tell time and notify yourself. Yeah, make sure, like, subscribe, comment below. you can hit the notify me button when we go live so that you're known 30 minutes before the show goes live. So again, with that being said, we want to hear from everyone. The phone lines are open. A little bit shorter show, a little more of a tiring show today.
I know. Again, we've been up since 4. Had some phone issues, troubles. So it's been a day. But started off with some wrestling and we're ending it on an airplane, so
can't complain.
No.
So let's open it up. I think we know who this is. He's probably coming on to gloat about his Drew McIntyre prediction. Steve, what are you thinking? What are you drinking?
I wish I had something. Just some ice water right now. I'm still waking up. I just finished watching it.
So it's fresh in your brain.
Were you able to see, like, are you able to rewind, or you just watch it like on the live feed? Because I feel like they don't store it on the network until
on Peacock.
Yeah, whatever.
When I woke up, it was still live, like towards the end of the men's chamber, and no, I couldn't do anything with that. I thought I could maybe start it at the beginning because I had done that before, and I think if you catch it early enough on Peacock, you can. But we're talking, this was like 3 hours in at that point, counting the kickoff show, so wasn't able to do it. So I had to wait until it was the whole stream was over, which they had it blocked off for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, well, 5 hours. Yeah. And then I was able to start it from the beginning and fast forward past most of the pre-show.
That's why we got up early. Nick's like, we're not doing it. We're not missing this. We're doing the show, and we have to be up to date. So
I've definitely had that issue. I think it's more NXT, maybe it's NXT stuff, where like something starts and I was like, well, I don't want to watch it in the middle of it, so I might as well it won't let you restart, which I miss the WWE network for that for sure.
So Steve, what are you thinking? What is your takeaways from Elimination Chamber?
I found it pretty funny that they put AJ Styles on a 30-hour flight halfway around the world for 30 seconds worth of TV time.
He hates LA Knight that much. First off, if LA Knight screwed me out of a belt, I would travel that far to screw him back out of that belt. So I disagree fully. I think he got what was coming to him. Good for AJ Styles.
I hope he got reimbursed for his travel expenses. I liked it. I mean, there really wasn't much in the way of surprises. The women's title match went like I thought it would. Rhea pulled off the riptide. I mean, it didn't get her all the way up, but it wasn't botched. And I was reminded, I think I had seen a video where Rhea had did that to Piper Niven.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, so didn't surprise me that she was able to do the move, and it was a nice moment. I wasn't expecting a squash out of that. I think I was maybe a little surprised that match went on last, but not really. I mean, they advertised the whole card around her.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I just think it's weird. Like, yeah, you're not gonna not like try and take that pop for her, the hometown pop away from her. But it's also like, do you want such a predict? Because everyone knew. Like, I feel like everyone knew she's coming out on top. I
think just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's bad.
No, that's true.
So give me a little swerve somewhere.
We knew Becky was gonna win, but it's still a fun match.
Also,
Judgment Day 1, that was a fun match.
Also, one pet peeve I do have about that match, and it's more about the move than the match. The Annihilator, also known as the Bonsai Drop. Yokozuna did that move, and first off, that should be the most protected move in all of sport, because kicking out of that move you either look like a superhero because someone's putting all of their weight on just your chest. So you don't like, no one kicks out, like you land on your chest and an upper body with that move. So like, even Rhea kicking out of that move, I don't know. It's like a pet peeve I have with that move. It's like, I don't think you can kick out of that move and make the move look good, or like you look like everyone talks about Super Cena. You look like the Super Cena, like that, the Hulk Hogan type stuff. Like that move is just a tough move to have anyone kick out of.
Like roll out the way, then take the
like miss it, or no, like hit the move and like bounce or something, which I don't know if it's dangerous, I'm saying, but like bounce and like move over and take an extra second or two and pin her a normal way, then sit on her.
Would you like if she like grab the rope and get the rope break?
Yeah, that I would have taken that. That's actually what I thought was going to happen.
That might have been better.
But I digress. Steve, sorry, I took away from some of your points there.
That's
Any what other takeaways did you get from the from paper here?
Let's see. I thought Tiffany Stratton did very well for herself, but I mean, she was obviously there to, she did a couple of good moves and then ate a pin, like expected. And the women's match was pretty entertaining. The only thing, two things. The interview segment, the Waller effect. I'm like, this is kind of. That was my cue to start doing chores.
Yeah, it started kind of dull. I mean, again, more of another predictable element to the show. But
yeah, I mean, like nothing's going to happen here that I need to pay attention to. So that's a few days away from being medically cleared. Well, we knew he's, unless something, really out of the blue happened, he's going to be cleared for Mania anyway. So,
what would surprise me is if he actually gets a match before Mania, or dare I say, like throw him out there. Like I'd rather him, because it reminds me of when he had what the hell was that, an ACL that he had or something with his knee? Maybe it was like where he came back to face Triple H, and he's like, "You're not cleared and unsanctioned." It was way like
it was the Mania match they had.
Yeah, was that like 6-7 years ago? But yeah, like it reminds me of that where everyone's like, "Is he going to be back?" Like, don't do anything. But like here, like I want to see him do a couple of things because I don't. Like just not have any rust and not let Mania be your first match back.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they haven't booked for 2 matches, because I had it figured he was going to do the one match and then he was going to lose either at Mania or the next night on Raw with a cash in, and then he was going to go have surgery on it and be gone for a while.
Yeah,
but no, they're gonna try to get 2 matches out of him, but it looks like they're building it up to protect him, because he doesn't have to do that much in the tag match, and if they make the title match triple threat, like I think they're going to do, and add Sami Zayn, then that's more where he doesn't have to do that much in the way of lifting, and then the next day he can go to the doctor.
Yeah. No, good points, Steve. Solid as always. Any last words before we send you off?
Yeah, how come they managed to find spots for every Australian performer on the roster except one?
Yeah, I said the yesterday. I was like, why is Bronson Reed not on there?
Yeah. He's another guy that I felt when they re-signed him. I thought that I was like, this is a mistake. It's just like Triple H saying, like, I'm sorry, I didn't want you to go when we let you go, but they brought him back and he didn't do anything. So, Steve, great point as always, but you, sir, are cut off.
See that?
With that, we, again, are off next week. So we're taking a week off, so we're going to have a ton of wrestling to talk about when we return.
I'm sure.
So March 8th, mark your calendars, 6 p.m. Easier way to know about everything is to simply like, subscribe, and comment, and tell your friends. But I thought this was a very productive Saturday afternoon on little sleep.
Been up since 4:15.
But thank you all for tuning in. So until next time, you don't have to go home. I have nothing left. You don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here. Bye.